How are we doing, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Big D podcast on Spunky Spectrum Sports. I am back for my contribution on the show. I am Alex. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Before I bring in your host, your favorite, the Big D himself, Dylan, just want to go over a couple housekeeping notes. First off, if you're watching on YouTube, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. It gives you the opportunity to see a lot of Dylan's content and gives Dylan the opportunity to give you guys even more content. So definitely like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you're streaming, make sure you're subscribed onto Spotify and Apple Music. That way you can keep up with the show on your favorite music streaming sites. But other than that, drum roll, please, as I introduce Dylan to your show. Welcome, Dylan.
Thank you, Alex. And by the way, Alex, where's your Tyreek Hill jersey?
Oh man, I gotta order one soon, man. You know, it's getting closer. It's NFL schedule release. You know, it's getting exciting. We're getting there. We're getting there.
What color would you get it in? White, green, or orange?
Oh man, I've got the Tool white throwback. I'd probably do the home throwback for Tyreek Hill. I think that'd look nice, the aqua throwback.
What's with all these throwback jerseys?
It's the nicest uniform in sports, man. And we need to go back full time to it. It's the cleanest colors. It's a perfect look.
You know the Charger throwbacks are the best NFL uniforms, and it's not even close.
The powder blues are nice. But I don't know, man. Something about that aqua and orange and white with the stripes on the sleeves. It's just that old logo. It's hard to beat.
All right, and you know what else is hard to beat? How about this game to start the 2022 National Football League season? The Buffalo Bills and the Los Angeles Rams. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, what a way to kick things off to start the season. I mean, obviously the Super Bowl champion LA Rams going against one of the most talented teams in football, the Buffalo Bills. I mean, it's everything you can hope for and more on to kick off the new NFL season. But where is that game? Is that in Buffalo? It's in LA. Yeah, so a little bit of travel, you know, get that East Coast or that West Coast trip out early for Buffalo. Nice little home game against a good team for LA. I mean, you know, it's like I said, there's no better way to kick off the NFL season. It's some of the best teams in the NFL going at it right away.
In my view, this should have been the Super Bowl last year. I mean, before you and I were here when I said I thought the Bills and Rams were going to be in the Super Bowl. I was only half right, but I think the Bills are the NFL's most talented team. Josh Allen's the NFL's most talented and probably best quarterback. Stefon Diggs is really good. Gabriel Davis a breakout star. Dawson Knox caught a bunch of touchdowns last year. We know what Devin Singletary can do. And by the way, James Cook is a sneaky good second-round pick out of Georgia. And then defensively, the Bills drafted Kyrie Corn from Florida and also signed somebody you and the Rams know, Von Miller. I'm just saying, that guy's done okay in a couple of Super Bowls.
Yeah, you know, nice little, decent little addition on defense. You know, I don't know, just a little headline marquee, light up the lights kind of signing on defense. But yeah, you're naming all the offensive guys. I'm sitting here thinking about Von Miller coming after Tua and Tre'Davious White marking up our receivers. I mean, it's a stacked team. I mean, trust me, it's I know all about the Buffalo Bills, so it's going to be a great game. You know, Josh Allen. He's I mean, there's not much else you can say about him other than the fact that he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now. It's unfortunate to say as a member of the Miami Dolphins diehard fan community. However, it is the truth of the matter, and you know, it's brand new season. I can't wait to see what happens, and we're definitely going to be off to a good start with that first matchup.
Oh, by the way, the LA Rams were pretty good last year. I'm just saying, Matt Stafford, best fourth quarterback in football. Cooper Kupp catching everything in sight, and Aaron Donald basically turning into a monster in the Super Bowl, and Jalen Ramsey. Yeah, LA's full of salts. Oh yeah, and the Rams sign Allen Robinson for good measure.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's almost like these NFL schedule makers knew what they were doing, huh? I mean, they're two of some of the most marketable teams in the NFL right now. I mean, the star power alone on these two rosters is, I mean, you can name there's 10 different guys on this roster who are better than any player on the Jacksonville Jaguars roster. That could say that.
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
yeah. Hey, you can serve the hits. You got to take a couple of them too, Dylan. Come on now. But
Hey, at least
no,
we won week 6 in London last year.
yeah. And that cost us the playoffs. So I mean, you'll always have that over me, that's for sure. But yeah, no, it's there's it's we can't really talk about the game as if it's like in the scope of the NFL season because I mean, it's a brand new season, that's and that's what's so exciting about it. This could be, I mean, obviously we have all of the hype that this is going to be one of the best games of the year, and you never know, it could turn out to be an absolute bust. But that's the NFL, baby. I mean, that's why we watch these games. That's what we're excited about. And I just can't wait until September to get this thing kicked off, man. I mean, the NFL offseason is the longest time of the year. And, we've gotten through the draft. We've gotten through free agency. We now have the first look at our NFL schedule. I mean, the pieces are finally coming together to get this thing kicked off again. But do you want to transition into? Let's do that. Speaking of, we've been having a little bit of friendly banter. Let's talk about our teams. Let's start with you, sir. The Jacksonville Jaguars. What are your first takeaways from looking at your schedule this year? Hopefully not another first round pick, or hopefully not a number. Let me resay that sentence. Hopefully not another number 1 pick in the NFL draft this year. I hope for you.
Hopefully we turn the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, if the one cat could make the Super Bowl, maybe the other cat team will make a run to go in there. But I think the Jags schedule is interesting. I mean, week 1 at Washington. I mean, I know people saying the Jags will start 0-1. Be honest, despite Jacksonville, A, being a pitiful road team, and B, literally pooping itself against every NFC team known to mankind in the last few years, I think the Jags can win that game.
Yeah, I mean,
because if you look at it, who would you rather have under center, Carson Wentz or Trevor Lawrence? I think I'd take Trevor Lawrence.
I think it's a toss-up, but I don't really think you can make a wrong call either way.
Secondly, Doug Peterson coaching the NFC East for a long time. He's going to know Ron Rivera. He's going to know what the Commanders do. And I feel like he'll have a good game plan for Ron Rivera's defense and how to give Trevor enough looks. Hopefully Travis Etienne would take some of the load off Lawrence. And I really think the Jaguars could win that game.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely harder teams to get for your first week. I mean, obviously the Washington Commanders, I guess we're the Commanders now, almost a football team. It's obviously the Washington has some pieces. I mean, they've got Terry McLaurin, they've got Antonio Gibson, they've got a couple decent young guys on defense. Obviously, Chase Young is the first name that comes to mind, but we've never really seen Washington fully put it together. It seems like they've got a couple nice pieces, but as far as working as a unit, really coming together and locking down and going on some serious win streaks and being able to put together a respectable season. I mean, that NFC East for a very long time has been kind of just a rotation of mediocrity, it seems like. So, I mean, if I'm a Jacksonville Jaguars fan, I'm not necessarily salivating at seeing Washington as your first week 1 matchup, but it's definitely a game I think you can go into at least hopeful with you're not going against the Kansas City Chiefs or the Buffalo Bills. You're not really writing that 0-1 into the in pen just yet. So it's definitely a good matchup for Jacksonville, I'd say. I think, like I said, you never know what's going to happen in a brand new NFL season. And, I'm rooting for you guys week one. I mean, Jacksonville Jaguars, why not us, right?
And then week 2, the Indianapolis Colts. And by the way, I know you look at Tennessee's. The Indianapolis Colts don't win in Jacksonville. Didn't win last year. Didn't win in the year before. Sorry, Colts, but we knocked out of the playoffs last year.
Yeah, we've got a little segment coming up later on in this episode. I think I'm gonna save part of this response for, but it's you're right. I mean, it's the same thing with me saying that the Patriots can't beat the Dolphins in Miami. I mean, it happens every once in a while, but typically, I mean, you're pretty confident when you see when you're playing against those New England Patriots and at Hard Rock Stadium. So I mean, based on the logic of history, I mean, there's definitely a shot for you there week 2. I mean, who knows? Jacksonville Jaguars starting off the season 2-0. And then you run into Justin Herbert.
Yeah. And then week 4, talk about a revenge game. Doug Peterson's return to the link. Woo.
Yeah.
That will be spicy. I wonder what kind of reception he'll get. Hopefully they don't throw snowballs at him.
I mean, you never know with those Philadelphia Eagles fans.
Maybe they'll throw Philly cheesesteaks, but we'll see. But to me, the difficult stretch for the Jags will be weeks 8, 9, 10, and 12. Denver at Wembley Stadium, Vegas at Kansas City, and then Baltimore.
Yeah.
That is a brutal stretch.
That is a brutal stretch.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, you got Russell Wilson, you got Derek Carr, you got Patrick Mahomes, you got Lamar Jackson. I mean, those aren't the quarterbacks that are going to be necessarily taking it easy on you. So, I mean, unfortunately, that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes when it comes to these schedules. You're never going to have favorable matchups every single week. But, I mean, like I've been saying, I mean, that's why we play the games. I mean, you never know. I mean, I didn't expect Miami to beat Baltimore last season, and it happened. So there's always those games that really shock you when you really don't see it coming, and a team that you don't think is going to win pulls it off. So who knows? You can pull one of those out, maybe 2 of them out. Who knows? Maybe Trevor Lawrence turns into Tom Brady, and you guys have a winning record and win the division. It's the beauty of the National Football League, man.
Okay, so we head from Duval County to Miami-Dade, where your Dolphins schedule is very interesting. I'm sure you were excited to get New England week 1 because of Miami's history against New England, especially at Hard Rock Stadium.
Yeah, it seems like we always play New England week 1. I wasn't surprised at all when I saw we were opening up against them. Ideally would have liked to play them in New England week 1 just because you don't want to have that New England winter late in the season. But it is going to be a September game in Miami, so it definitely has its benefits there. I mean, I'm fully confident going into a New England game. We swept them last season. Tua Tagovailoa has never lost to the New England Patriots, and I'm hoping it doesn't start in week 1. But it's going to be a good matchup. Alabama quarterbacks going at each other. Longtime division rivals. It's not really a team I'd rather play against week 1, to be honest with you. But it should be a good game. Both teams have made some improvements, and I'm excited to see what the AFC East shapes into this year. And it's a great way to kick off the season by going against our longtime rivals. But after that, what's up?
But then look at the stretch in December.
Yeah.
Rest of September at Baltimore, Buffalo, then at Cincinnati on a short week.
Yeah.
That is a brutal stretch.
Those are some tough 3 games for sure. The Baltimore game, we beat them last year. Tua obviously came in to finish that game off. Baltimore Ravens are a dangerous football team. Obviously, you have to contain Lamar Jackson. It's not an easy task. It wasn't an easy task beating him last time. Our defense had their game of the season against Baltimore last year. Obviously, we're hoping that Miami Dolphins defense can stay as strong as they have been in the last couple seasons. and as well as the offense taking steps forward. I mean, it's a new Miami Dolphins team, Dylan. With the additions that they've made, I mean, these games, obviously, yes, they're tough games, but the situation that the Miami Dolphins, right, that the Miami Dolphins are in right now, there's not a team on this schedule who I think that there's not a team on this schedule who I look at it and say there's no chance we can win that game. I'm that confident in this Miami Dolphins roster right now that yes, there's definitely some hard games on there. Yes, there's definitely going to be some games we're going to lose on there, but there's not a single game on this schedule that I say we have zero shot of winning that game. And it's nice to be able to say that because the fact is in the roster. I mean, we've made such strong additions that really help this team. I'm really excited to see what happens. But yeah, it is a tough stretch. I mean, the Ravens, it's a winnable game, but it's a tough game. Going up against the Bills, I mean, it's time we beat Buffalo. It's time we get the Buffalo monkey off of our back because yes, Buffalo is one of the best teams in football, but we cannot be a serious team if we're getting swept by them every single season. So I'm really hoping that this is the year that we at least get a split with them. We get them in a nice home hot Florida game early in the season. Maybe we surprise Buffalo and knock them off for the first time in what feels like forever because we've been getting smacked around by the Bills. Joe Burrow and the Bengals after that, Thursday night football, that makes me nervous for sure. It's probably, I mean, if I'm looking at one game where I would be the most comfortable taking an L, it's probably going to be that one. But then it opens up. I mean, then we've got the New York Jets, which, I mean, it's the New York Jets. It's about all you got to say about that. The Minnesota Vikings, I mean, Kirk Cousins is probably the most overrated quarterback in the NFL. I think that's definitely a winnable game. The Pittsburgh Steelers, we're still not sure who's going to be playing quarterback there, so I'm not really too worried about them. And you go into Detroit. I mean, it's the Detroit Lions. That's about all I have to say for that one.
Dan Campbell revenge game.
What was that?
Dan Campbell revenge game when he coached the Dolphins when he got a couple.
He was the interim head coach for 4 or 5 games. Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I always liked Dan Campbell just because of that stretch, but it'll be nice to see him back, and that's a home game as well. So Dan Campbell back in 305. But yeah, I mean, after that first 4 games, I mean, Jets, Vikings, Steelers, Lions, then the Bears. I mean, Justin Fields, who knows exactly how developed he's going to be. You had mentioned that Allen Robinson has moved on, so it's definitely one of the biggest weapons out of the Chicago Bears offense. Then the Browns. I mean, the Browns, I think, is probably most people's biggest question mark going into this season, especially with Deshaun Watson coming in. Is he going to be playing by then? Is he going to get suspended and how long? So it's definitely, I mean, there's some tough stretches on this schedule. After the Browns, there's the Texans, which is a very winnable game. I think the 49ers after that is a very winnable game. That whole middle stretch we could see another 7-game win streak just like last year. I mean, I'm just saying. I definitely think there's 7 games in a row that we could very, very well win all of those games. But
I think your stretch in December, early January is brutal. At San Francisco, at LA, at Buffalo, Packers on Christmas Day, and then at New England.
Yikes. And then the Jets. But yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it's weird. It's top heavy and it's bottom heavy, and there's a lot of feeder in the middle. So it's just a matter of winning a couple of those games, a couple of those head-to-head games that are going to be a dogfight, and taking care of what you got to take care of in the middle of the season. I mean, like I said, there's not a team on that schedule I'm afraid of. There's not a team on that schedule I don't think we could beat. Just a matter of whose best 53 players show up on Sunday.
All right, Alex. So which team do you think benefited from its schedule last night?
Yeah, there's definitely a couple of them. I would say just based on one factor alone, the Pittsburgh Steelers do not have to leave the Eastern time zone once the entire season.
You suck. Yeah, I knew you were going to take that.
I got a couple others. If you, I'll see if I can leave you with I'll only take the Steelers. I'm sorry about that, Dylan, but I mean it's huge. It's if you're not having to go from Pittsburgh to Seattle, Washington, or Pittsburgh to LA, or Pittsburgh to San Diego. I mean, it's that travel time, that jet lag. I mean, it's a big advantage. So I think the Steelers are definitely winners, and I'll save some other picks for you. So who do you think is the big winner from the schedule release?
You guess you name one Pennsylvania team, I'll name the other one. How about the Eagles? I mean, my goodness.
Yeah.
I think the Eagles got a pretty good schedule, especially early, because at Detroit, Minnesota, at Washington, Jacksonville, at Arizona is not going to be easy. But then the Dallas, Pittsburgh, at Houston, Washington, at Indianapolis. I think the Eagles could get a lot of early wins early. Obviously, the back half of the schedule is a little harder, but I think the Eagles' schedule is really good. I love the aggressiveness Howie Roseman showed, not just in free agency, but the draft getting AJ Brown. I think the Eagles are a dangerous team, and I'm telling you right now, I think the Eagles win the NFC East.
See, it's funny you say that, because there was one other team who I had picked for a very favorable schedule, and it is a fellow member of the NFC East. So when you said the Eagles, I almost chuckled a little bit. But have you seen the Dallas Cowboys schedule, Dylan?
So what? The Dallas Cowboys will not win the NFC East this year. Book it.
I don't know. I'm looking at starting in the back half of November. So November 13th, they've got the Packers, which is really the last hard game on that schedule for them. Then November 20th, they go to the Vikings, or they play against the Vikings. November 24th, the Giants, then the Colts, then the Texans, then the Jaguars, then the Eagles, then the Titans, and then the Commanders. I mean, for a team who's looking for a playoff push, when you're playing 1, 2, 3, all 4 of the AFC South, which honestly, Dylan, is the worst division in the NFL. I mean, you're playing all 4 teams from the AFC South within the last 6 weeks of the NFL season. I mean, we were talking about it at the end of the regular season last year. That's when teams really need to dig in, step up, and really make that playoff push. And as we've seen in the NFC East, it's kind of been a draw a name out of a hat out of whoever's going to come out of that division. I mean, we've seen teams with losing records come out of that division into the playoffs. So I think that home stretch is really going to be important. And I think that definitely the Dallas Cowboys have one of the easier home stretches.
By the way, the 4 NFC East teams have got the easiest schedules based on win-loss record from last season, but we know win-loss record varies from season to season. I mean, who would have thought the Cincinnati Bengals would have been a team contending for the number 1 pick and then almost winning a Super Bowl? But we'll see how things are in the NFC least.
And the NFC least, that's for sure. But so, Don, I gotta ask you, I want to know what game on this NFL slate, week 1 through 18, you can pick any one of them, that you are the most excited to watch this season.
Can I pick all 272?
I mean, you could go. This is your show, Dylan. You're running the ship, but
no, there are a lot of games that excite me. But the fact that we could potentially see Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady one more time excites me. I don't know what it is. Tom Brady and week 4 Tom Brady should just play on Sunday night, week 4 Sunday Night Football for you, because you remember last year, Tom Brady's return to Foxborough was week 4. This year, Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady play week 4 on Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
I mean, and the last time those 2 teams played, didn't go well for Mahomes. The Bucs won Super Bowl just up the road. 21. Yeah. And
it's definitely.
And Tom Brady got one for the left hand. Another one for the left hand.
I mean, it's definitely a good pick. It's Super Bowl. It's a Super Bowl replay. Obviously, not last year's Super Bowl, but it's definitely it is a rematch of Super Bowl a couple years back. I mean, it's Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady. I mean, as far as quarterbacks in the NFL, it's pretty much the two most household names that there are in the NFL right now. So we know what these two teams are. We know what these two teams have. We know it's going to be exciting, and it's nice to be able to kind of get that going early in the season. Well, we only have to wait a couple weeks, and then Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. I mean, it's a great pick. I was thinking of picking that one, but I had a feeling you were going to pick it. So I did, however, pick one of the two teams in that game for my pick. I cannot wait to see Dylan. It's late in the season. We're going to have to wait a while. There's probably going to be a lot of it's out of conference, so it's not going to be direct playoff implications, but it's going to be a must-win game for both of these teams, I think. Do you already know where I'm going with this?
You're going Week 12 Rams Chiefs. I guarantee.
I am not. I'm going Week 15.
What?
I'm going with a matchup between two quarterbacks who have 19 years in age between the two of them.
Oh, crap.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Cincinnati Bengals are playing each other in Week 15. It's the very first time that Tom Brady and Joe Burrow have played against each other.
Wait a minute. That game is in Tampa, right?
Tampa. Tampa.
That'd be even better. Won't be any weather concerns.
Exactly. Tampa Bay, Cincinnati Bengals, Tom Brady, Joe Burrow, Week 15. We thought Brady was retired. He said, "No, sir, I have to play against Joey Burr one time before I retire." And that will be Week 15. And I am very excited for that game. How could you not be? It's Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's everyone's favorite Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals, the Cinderella team that almost pulled a Super Bowl out of nothing last season. There's not much more you can ask for. I mean, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Tom Brady, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. I mean, the names just go on and on. The quarterbacks have such history already. Obviously Tom Brady's got the history and Joe Burrow's trying to make history. But that's a matchup when I first saw that, especially realizing that it's the first time that Joe Burrow and Tom Brady are going to be going head to head. It's a game that we're going to have to wait for it. I mean, we got a little teaser in Week 4 with your pick and the Bucs and the Chiefs, but we'll finish off the season strong with that game. I can't wait for it.
I thought you would have picked LA Kansas City Week 12. I'm like, I didn't think you were going to squeeze play me with Burrow and Brady.
Yeah, I mean, are you not excited? I mean, that's a great quarterback matchup. It's gonna be. I can't wait for that one. But.
Gunslinger and the GOAT. What else do you want?
Exactly.
Okay, so every year there are revenge games galore where there's an unhappy player, unhappy coach, or an unhappy fan base against a certain individual. What revenge game are you looking forward to seeing this year?
Honestly, as far as revenge game, I'm starting right away. I'm starting Week 1, Denver Broncos, Seattle Seahawks. I cannot wait to see Russell Wilson. I mean, Russell Wilson is a Seattle Seahawk. It's when you think Russell Wilson, you think that dark blue with the lime green and the silver accents. I mean, Russell Wilson is a Seattle Seahawk. It's going to be so weird to see Russell Wilson in a Denver Broncos uniform this season. And we get to see the reunion or the revenge, the whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to title it. I cannot wait to see Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos. Depending on what's going on with Jerry Jeudy, I was about to say they've got the Denver Broncos have one of the best receiver rooms in the NFL. But you know, it's just so weird seeing a legend like that wearing a different uniform. That the fact that they're throwing him right back against his old team in Week 1 of the NFL season, it's just something I can't wait to see.
I gave you the low-hanging fruit right there.
Yeah.
Well, you picked an unhappy play. You picked a player.
Yep.
I'm picking a coach. How about Mike McCarthy going back to Lambeau, Week 10, Cowboys-Packers?
Yeah.
First off, anytime you get the Cowboys and Packers playing together, it's a great game.
Absolutely.
Fox is going. Fox is going to like market the what out of that game.
Yeah.
Secondly, Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers did not get along toward the end of his stay in Green Bay. So Mike McCarthy will be looking for a little bit of payback. He'll be looking to say, "Hey, Aaron Rodgers, yeah, you might have won a Super Bowl, but it was with me, not this guy."
Yep.
Secondly, the Cowboys are going to remember what happened in that NFC division round, where some people call it, where Des Bryant may or may not have caught the ball.
that little
I mean,
situation.
it seems like the Cowboys have got a love-hate relationship with Green Bay. So I think it's fascinating. Obviously, seeing Tom Brady in Foxborough last year was weird, but Mike McCarthy in Green Bay next year, Week 10, is going to be very interesting.
You guys have a little revenge game yourself, by the way, this season. Well, Doug Peterson reunion.
I didn't want to be biased. I could have picked that game, but I think that Mike McCarthy going to Green Bay would generate more spice.
Yeah, no, I think you nailed it on that pick. I mean, the Cowboys Packers is two of the most storied teams in the NFL. I mean, you're right. Fox is absolutely already drooling at the promotion for that game. I mean, it's Cowboys Packers. I mean, they're two teams that have been around.
The only thing that Fox wants right now is Troy Aikman to do that game, but I don't think ESPN would let that happen.
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah, I was gonna say Tony Romo too, but I mean, he's CBS, so he's not even going to be on that either. But yeah, I mean, obviously you said you don't want to be biased. I'm right there with you because I could have been biased too with Brian Flores with the Steelers coming to play Miami. So there's Deshaun Watson going up against Houston already for the first season away.
AJ Brown against the Titans.
Yeah, AJ Brown, Von Miller plays the Rams this season. Week 1, we're already talking about a revenge game again there.
He barely even drank a cup of coffee with the Rams.
Yeah, I mean, neither has Russell Wilson either. So
I guarantee you, Russell Wilson drank a few pots of coffee in the Great Northwest.
Yeah, that's true. You're probably right about that.
All right, so thanks for spilling some coffee beans and your NFL knowledge, Alex. Hopefully, the wait for the 2022 NFL season goes by quickly, and we'll see your Dolphins take on the Pats Week 1, and hopefully my Jags will get a win over the Washington Commanders or whatever they be in Landover.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me on, Dylan. Always a pleasure. Always nice to be here talking to you. And I can't wait to get the season started, man. Fins up, baby.